This is one of my favorite cuisines in the world, and before we started traveling, I had no frame of reference for it at all. But Malaysian cuisine is absolutely incredible, so let's have a little intro to it and talk about 3 different versions of it that we've encountered and what made this cuisine quickly jump into being one of my favorites. Malaysia kind of sits at this pivot point of what is considered South, East, or Southeast Asia, and you get to see some influence from all 3 of those regions in the cuisine. There will be a lot that reminds you of Indian and other South Asian cuisines, like roti and kind of their takes on curry called nasi lemak and laksa. I'd obviously never tried laksa before, but it very quickly became one of my favorite dishes in the world. It's a rich, fragrant coconut noodle soup that is complex and filled with flavor, and just one of those things that once you start eating, it's hard to stop. Once you eat nasi lemak, which has a base of rice cooked in coconut milk, you'll question why all rice isn't cooked in coconut milk and really start to reconsider your choices in life. It's the national dish of Malaysia, and for good reason. Then we move on down to Singapore, which while Singaporean cuisine is distinct, it obviously shares a lot of overlap with Malaysia, and you see a lot of the South Asian influence, but with a twist that combines it with a cuisine that is very similar to that of China. There's a heavy Cantonese influence in the food here, where it kind of feels like a best of both worlds of combining Malaysia and Hong Kong, and truly there's not much more I could ask for in life. We visited Singapore about a month after we had been to Hong Kong and Kuala Lumpur, and it was so amazing to feel like we were experiencing those 2 cuisines smashed together in a very glorious symphony, where you see the distinct pieces of Malaysian cuisine like the nasi lemak and the laksa, but side by side with some of the hot pot and roasted goose that are a big part of Cantonese and Chinese cuisines. And who can forget about egg tarts? For the last version of this cuisine, we're actually hopping on a 10-hour flight over to Cape Town. When Malaysian slaves were brought to South Africa, they brought their Malaysian cuisine with them and combined it with a lot of the local cuisine and the ingredients they could find in Africa. When they won their freedom, they settled in the Bocap neighborhood, which is now a hotbed of culture in the city and has made a home for this cuisine that is both distinctly South African and distinctly Malaysian. You'll find like your classic rotis and curries, as well as local favorites like Koo Sisters, which are a type of heavy donut often eaten for breakfast with a cup of coffee or just as a dessert. Overall, this is now a cuisine that I seek out anywhere I can, so give it a try sometime.